relations. I will now invite any of the other members of the working group or the participants of the working group who are present here if they would like to add their comments. So, Dr. Christine Fair from Georgetown University.
Just from here, or do you want me to stand up?
Yeah, it would be nice if you stood up.
Okay, all right, you're the boss. I don't know what the rules are. The nice thing about being PNG'd is that I never have to care about a visa. This also frees me up to be more honest, I think, about our relationship with Pakistan. So you might imagine I'm the mean hawk on the team. And because of that, I do want to give a shout out to Lisa and Hussein for managing, I would say, a bunch of people with different opinions and different experiences. I also want to bring your attention to a fabulous report that Lisa did with Caribou in 2008. The more I go back to that report, the more its shelf life is enduring. And I think it's a testament to the kind of vision and work that Lisa does. So I really encourage you to go back and look at that and see how much of that's relevant. So I do want to put forward that I had a much more aggressive view of what we should be doing, because I don't think Pakistan deserves a second chance. Most of our deaths in Afghanistan are due to that country, 33 billion and climbing. And what we see for that mostly is disappointment, perfidy, and a lot of dead Americans and even more dead Afghans. So I think the time for second chances lapsed probably 9 years ago. So I actually think that we should be much more aggressive with designations through the UN Security Council process for 1267 in 1989 designations. China needs to be called out for carrying water for Pakistan. There's absolutely no reason, I'm looking right at the ISI, there's no reason why China should be carrying water and preventing the designation of Jaish. And I'm really hoping that Nikki Haley lives up to the expectations, that she calls out China. And she says, China, why are you carrying water for a terrorist group and its leader? What benefit is China deriving from continuing to do so? I actually think it's time to cut off CSF. Pakistan never supported the coalition. It undermined the coalition. So, in fact, it was a misnomer. So apart from punishing Pakistan, I think there's a more important reason why CSF should be denied to Pakistan from this day forward. And the reason is quite simple. Anyone do economics? It's a moral hazard. Right? We've essentially incentivized Pakistan to keep terrorists around. So in Vietnam, we had this rat capture program. We paid $1 for each rat. And what we learned was that they were farming rats. So Pakistan farms terrorists. And so we never incentivized the Pakistanis to stop producing terrorists. In fact, as long as there are more terrorists to kill, Pakistan collects money. So we're essentially monetizing Pakistan to continue doing this. So this is really bad incentives. Pakistan, on the one hand, experiences no penalty for its behavior and, in fact, benefits from it. It also undermines the salience of Pakistan's obligations under UN Security Council 1367. You are supposed to be stopping terrorists from your soil, not continuing to foster their behavior. So the fact that we pay you to do what you're supposed to be doing, it's sort of like paying your kids to keep their room clean. Well, they should be doing that anyway. So I also think that it is time to put on the table a timeline to designate Pakistan as a state sponsor. So I agree with everything that they said, but I would say that we need to put that up front. I share many of the tasks that the task force puts forward. But I think we need to be much more immediate about, you will be on this list unless you do the following. And this is not giving them a second chance. This is making them do what they should have done some time ago. And finally, about the GLOCs, I think this is really important because this was discussed by both of them. I was an opponent of the surge in 2009 because it misdiagnosed the problem. All the folks on McChrystal's team, none of them had a Pakistan expert there. And so the assumption was that Pakistan was going to do in its best interest what was actually in our best interest. So when we put that surge in, we actually were losing because we needed to put pressure on Pakistan. But the surge, which was a civilian surge, a military surge, plus all the personal security detail, we were looking at a surge of well over 100,000. We were losing because of our dependence upon Pakistan, and the surge made us more dependent. So I think we need to keep troops in Afghanistan. We need to keep paying the bills for Afghanistan. This isn't just about the military security. It's also about the economic transition of Afghanistan. We never talk about the money. But the advantage of keeping troops is that this Congress, as reckless as this particular regime may be, if we keep troops there, the checks might be coming. But it will do us no good to keep troops in Afghanistan. It will do us no good to keep paying if we don't put pressure on these Pakistanis. And the only way we do that is by having a presence in Afghanistan that does not rely upon Pakistan's ground lines of control, right? So there are two things that I really want to encourage this administration to think differently about. One, Iran. right? This administration doesn't understand the benefits of Iran. Imagine if we said, instead of, telling the Pashtun mafia in Pakistan, get our broccoli to Afghanistan, instead we say to the Indians, you've built this fabulous port in Chabahar. The road and rail links already connect Chabahar to the ring road in Afghanistan. How about we say to the Indians, you get our non-lethal stuff there. And then let's take advantage, and this is the final thing I want to say, of the Putin-Trump bromance, and we can get Russia to stop being obstructionist in Afghanistan and let us begin moving more serious goods through that northern distribution route.
Thanks.
We're going to stay there without those GLOCs being different. We're not going to be in a different position a year from now.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Faiz. So I'm glad that Dr. Faiz spoke up, especially those in the audience who might think that the recommendations of the working group are too strong. They needed to hear why we think they are extremely moderate.